Come back, tell us about Bill Belichick CCing his girlfriend on his emails.
I have a take on this. This is an old person thing. Yeah. Oh. It's an old person thing. Hell, it's not even that much of an old person thing. It's like I'm in a relationship kind of thing, and she handles my entire calendar. Yeah, I've been on emails where Dan's just like, CC Valerie. I've been the person that's been like, just text Cynthia and figure it out. Like, this is just an old person relationship thing. I don't have control of my schedule anymore. I don't have the energy or bandwidth to fight over it because I'm disorganized. Just CC her. My life's a lot easier.
So it's interesting that that is the place that you take that particular story. What about this one? Because this picture that we were showing yesterday of Bill Belichick doing yoga on the beach, to me, the thing about that picture is somebody has to be asked to take it, and then it gets dispersed. So there is a decision, right?
That looks like a propped phone just like leaned up.
That's on the
something.
sand.
Yeah, if I had to guess, this is a timer.
Yeah. Okay, so if they're doing it by timer, they're also doing something that they want this out there. And do you think, like, I'd like to know the marketing and business strategy of what is presently happening here. What is going on with what it is that Bill Belichick is trying to do with this portion of his career, where Pablo Torre is reporting that his girlfriend is basically his manager and agent. So there is, and now they're on Hard Knocks, and now the reinvention of a legend begins in his 70s.
They're not on Hard Knocks. They're doing their own thing.
Yeah, that got pulled
It's not Hard Knocks branded, but they're still going to be doing a show that's kind of invasive.
Okay,
like
my point is that
as he doesn't have any practice jersey numbers on, which I know this seems like revolutionary. He did it in New England. Let me just say Randy Shannon did this down here. It was a disaster. It's terrible for the coaches. They're all wearing helmets. How can you tell?
My question to you guys is, because this is a fairly stunning thing to see, I guess we can normalize it, but it's all fairly stunning to look at the entirety of this story. This is the best football coach there's ever been in America's most popular sport. I want to take you through this story because it is fascinating. The coach for our times, the best. Word association, name a great coach. If you're of this generation, last 20 years, Belichick, Saban, those are the top of the list because that's the known sport. He's in his 70s, can't get a job anywhere in professional football. Goes to college and now has his career being helped and aided, old person thing, whatever, by a 24-year-old who loves him.
I'm not getting into that. I mean,
I'm.
How am I supposed to know?
Okay, but
They seem pretty serious, and he seems oddly flexible for his age.
Put a ring on that finger.
It's IG official. That's not nothing.
Yeah, I'm not. This is somehow more reckless than the LeBron thing.
What's reckless?
Does she love him? I'm not.
Yeah. I wasn't.
Are they in love?
It sounded like there was a question in it. It sounded like there's a question mark in it. Whatever.
Then I'm gonna be your friend here. You got some blind spots here, pal. All right, there's some blind spots here. Like, Valerie helps you out a ton with stuff. She is your anchor. Like, I think that's all that's happening right here. She's his manager. She's his partner, and they're doing partner things.
That is correct. And they're building the business of Bill Belichick back up. And I'd like to explore it as they traffic in not caring whatever is the assessments are from afar. I do not have blind spots here.
She's young. She posts. She's IG. She's that IG age.
I think we're acting like she's using Bill Belichick as if 70-year-old Bill Belichick being with a 29-year-old or whatever is not like he's getting something out of this exchange. I think Bill very well knows what's going on here.
I think he's happy with it. He looks super happy. This is...
Did you see him at the museum?
Yeah.
Check out the post before. Him at a museum is amazing, Mike. You're going to love it.
He's always been lovey-dovey with long-term girlfriends. Like, he's dressed up as pirates. Like, I saw him at, like, the Gronk Beach House. Like, he loves to have a good time, and he's super public. This is the first time that he's dated. It's the first time he's dated someone that's a little bit more active when it comes to social media posting. But Bill, low-key, has always kind of been like this.
This is not, though, the part that I'm interested in. I'm interested in whoever manages and markets the last part of this and however they manage and market it. It's a man who's a legend, whose name has been tarnished so much that his league says, hey, come interview for the Atlanta job 3 times. No, you can't have it. We don't want you. Wants to work in the pros. Says he'll work for any bad team. No is the answer at every stop because of how he's doing it. And then he goes to college, humbled, not employed in the sport that he loves, where he is the legend who was going to get Don Shula's record, most wins ever, and then an Apple docuseries scorches him in 10 episodes because Kraft burns the bridge to whatever that excellence was, and now he has to try and reinvent himself at 70. What an interesting way to do it. What a fascinating way to do it.
But it's also coaching cycles, right? Like, if Bill Belichick would have sat out another year or two, he would have been back in the NFL. That's just kind of how it happens. Like, when Bill Cowher left, everyone was like, Cowher, because he would say no. Like, eventually, just because of the NFL and the fact that they don't really give that many new people opportunities, like, they all eventually get another job. He just got tired of waiting, and he wanted to do this. And, like, it wasn't like he went begging to North Carolina. He found a program that was desperate enough to give him everything that he wanted, and they put him in a position where he couldn't say no because they gave him everything.
May I also just add that I don't find anything remotely new or shocking about an older man having a hot young girlfriend.
To me, the only
thing
interesting
that happens a lot.
To me, the interesting part about this is whether or not it succeeds or fails, or if he even gives it long enough to do that. In college, staffs generally need like 3 years to put their program in place. Like, he is approaching this differently. In terms of talent acquisition, it hasn't gone the way that most people think it would have gone. It's still super early, and it's hard to judge when a new coach jumps in an offseason like that. But, okay, you think that you're smarter. You think hiring your friends like Lombardi is going to work out for you on this level, and I'm really interested to see if it actually does.
Both the coaching and the relationship, if we're being honest, are probably going to end horribly. Like, this isn't going to go well on either front. But he's having the time of his life now, going to museums. He's doing the beach photo. Like, he seems to be having fun. He's in the Dunkin' commercials. Like, let him have his moment because, like, North Carolina is not going to be a national power. And a 29-year-old is not going to be around Bill Belichick forever. Probably.
He's got to die first, obviously. If that's is that what you're getting at? She could be there for his forever.
I mean, Billy, you were skeptical of their love. I mean,
I'm skeptical of their
you're
love?
just like, she's not going to stay with him.
You just said
I'm just saying it's probably not. Well, look, here's the deal, right? When you're like 28, 29, like, this is a powerful person, right? But like, when you realize that like all of his friends are 70 and you're going to like a 73-year-old's birthday party and you're hanging out with just a bunch of 70-year-olds.
Guys, get in for a
like,
selfie.
Yeah, you go and it's like, oh, what are we going to do this weekend? Well, the Lombardis are having us over for a 5:30 dinner. Things are going to get wild. I don't know
supper.
about it. I want to sign up for this forever, even though forever is not that long.
It's not his network. He goes on the boat. He goes to parties. Like he's a fun guy.
He for sure calls it supper too.
There's stew involved.
They've been together for a long time. I'm pretty sure like they seem like they really like each other. She's wearing jackets.
I hope everyone is having a fun time.
Yeah.
It appears that they are. I see it and I'm like, that's wild. I would have never pictured Bill Belichick doing this because he was Mr. Serious all the time. But then the initial sort of shock wore off and I'm like, cool, they're just in a relationship.
I hope that everyone gets out of this relationship what they're hoping to get out of this relationship. And it's 100% supper and it's 100% soup because the poly grip, not that strong.
Let's not forget, we played videos for years of him jumping off boats. Yeah. This guy's always liked a good time. Yeah.
He really has.
The part actually about this that is most interesting to me is that I think most people are coming by Billy's opinion on this is all going to fail as it regards the football. And to me, that part's confusing because you've told me for 25 years that this is a genius that knows more than everyone else. You take Tom Brady from him and all of a sudden it has no values in the amateur ranks. It doesn't have some sort of advantage that they don't have because they're not as professional as him. Why are we spending so much time propping up that Bill Belichick is the reason for winning and then turning around when he goes to North Carolina and saying he will not have any substantive advantages there?
Well, because because the way that college athletics works, it's not set up for him to be successful. His success was not just Tom Brady, but it was because he was the dictator of an entire system that he ran in New England, where you came in and you knew you were signing up for that system. The way college athletics are now, you just basically have to pay the best 18-year-old, and if they don't like it or if they succeed, they can go to a school that can pay them more than North Carolina can probably pay them with a better pedigree than North Carolina. Or if you sign someone up to be the backup, they can then leave the next year. So, like, it's a different system where Bill Belichick's going to have to change the way that he's done things, and he's going to have to do that now at, like, 72 years old with 18-year-olds who are just looking for more money, and they're not going to buy into the Patriot way, which is what we always talked about, why Bill Belichick was successful, because of this whole system that he set up where the players didn't really have much of a say in anything, and they just had to do whatever he wanted. And that's just not the case of college football right now with NIL money.
Well, also his approach is more of like a development. I'm really good at developing players. Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick. I'm going to scout guys. I'm going to have these gems that you find and develop them, but that takes time. Does the oldest coach have time? Does what he brings in with his prestige afford him that kind of time? Does he get bored with it and wants to jump back to the NFL? Or does this experience make him a bigger punchline in the NFL? And he's probably closing those doors that he still seemingly is interested in walking through.
Yeah, there's also questions as to how committed he actually is to this process, right? When we saw like the specifics of, well, he hadn't actually signed his contract yet, and there's outs where it would only cost $1 million if he left for an NFL job before certain dates. Like, maybe Bill Belichick falls in love with being a college coach and he really enjoys North Carolina. You see him at basketball games with recruits. He seems to be buying in, right? But we also don't know how long this experiment is actually going to last.
The part that's just confusing to me is that and those are all reasonable questions. You're just telling me that whatever he's had that is the advantages for 25 years are so worth nothing that you don't think he can even bring what Deion Sanders brought at the beginning, because Deion Sanders came with 2 actual players, and you're telling me Belichick's not even worth that the questions are so strong, and all of that is fair. Everything you've said is fair as a question, but they're so strong that you're willing to turn it into a doubt that will make him an immediate failure, and you're adding to it, I'm not sure he cares that much about this part.
I mean, I didn't go that strong on any of that. I said that it's just assuming that it's going to be a success is not necessarily the case. But, like, there's also a very big difference in Deion Sanders' ability to recruit and Bill Belichick's, right? Like, there's a relatability there that's different. It's not just they were successful at what they did. Like, Bill Belichick was kind of told by the NFL, you don't have it anymore, and we're not going to bring you back, and we're not going to give you, like, you were the greatest coach ever, but also time has passed you by, and we don't know if you can do it without a quarterback because you haven't proven us that you can do it without a quarterback yet. So, like, it's not me saying it. That's, like, the message the NFL delivered to him. What I'm saying is I don't know that what he did successfully in the NFL translates over to present-day college football.
He's going to attempt what the vision, at least for year one, is I have a coaching advantage because I'm the greatest head coach of all time. When the bright lights go on that Monday night against TCU, you know you got the smarter coach on your sideline and certainly the more prestigious one. And I will develop these kids. I mean, if I'm a college football fan, that's all I have to believe in right now for North Carolina because that's all he's shown me. He's not walking in the door with Travis Hunter. And I think that's a little bit of a surprise. But again, he's not from this world. At least Deion was at Jackson State. He knew how to recruit talent. He knew how to walk in the door and with a lot of talent. It's a whole new base level of skill that he's got to learn or at least build a program good enough that it makes it easier for him.
The 18-year-olds he's trying to recruit also, though, like, the last time Bill Belichick was Bill Belichick, they were probably like 10.
I think we could actually make this more fun. Let's just go through a list of the ACC coaches, and we can say which ones we know for a fact Bill Belichick is better than as a coach. Okay. Pat Narduzzi. Let's start with the obvious there. Manny Diaz.
He's a better head coach than all of them.
Jessica, no, but
Dave
this is the part that I find
still around?
This is the part that I find funny. Wow. It's
Clausen retired.
Big year for NC State. Wow. I feel like this is finally the make or break year for Doran.
Brent Pry for sure.
Oh, Pry's a good one. I like Pry. I'm a Pry guy. big Pry guy.
Really?
Yeah, love Brent Pry.
Is that just because they almost beat
Well, they own
last
Miami,
year?
and whenever he's overmatched, he will design a game plan to actually try to make that a winnable game for Georgia
Speaking
Tech.
of Mario, for sure.
Yeah, easily. Well, at least I know Lombardi feels that way.
I'd maybe put Dabo, because Dabo's won a couple national championships.
Bill's the best coach in college football in
I'd say
terms of X's and
I'd
O's.
say Dabo's probably better than Bill right now, but subject to change. All you have to do is win the ACC, Dan, and you get in the playoffs.
Is that all you have to do?
The part that I think is funniest about this is how much of that tactical advantage can anyone listening to this actually quantify? Because we can all think that Belichick will obviously have a coaching advantage over Mario Cristobal, and yet you're telling me that when that produces a result, it's not going to be North Carolina actually being good at football in an enduring way. He's going to go to every one of those games with that kind of tactical advantage, and none of us will have a way of seeing it actually play out in a way that we believe in right now. As we talk about it, you make fun of it, but a guy who's a genius, an alleged genius, is going to come to the sport and not actually have a tactical advantage that matters.
I actually do think it matters. As a fan of a program that is often inside that conference more talented than its opponents, but there's deficiencies at head coach in terms of tactical advantage, we've lost to a ton of opponents over the last 21 years that quantifiably have smarter staffs than Miami have had, and the talent gap. You see the composite recruiting rankings. Miami's only been to Charlotte once in its history since they joined the ACC. So I'm a big believer in that in this conference especially.